It's true.
Wow, exactly. At least we weren't on an airplane.
Yeah.
We're good.
That's funny.
Oh, we might need to shout. I don't know if our... Okay.
Yeah, say it loud.
Try my best. We talked a little bit about like your love for Star Wars, but are there other things that you are a fan of, especially when I convention like this, and you see people's costumes?
I'm a fan of pretty much everything, in this genre. I love, and I have a 12-year-old son, so he's into anime, Demon Slayer, Airbender. My friend Daniel Kim plays the fire guy, right? He's the villain.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the Netflix anime, right?
Daniel
Or
Kim
Netflix.
plays the villain in the Airbender thing.
The Netflix live action, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on.
Check. Oh, yes. I love Lord of the Rings and Dawn is Here. There's no cool. I mean, I'm a fan of so many different genres. I love westerns still. So Clint and that whole thing is a big influence.
Is that a genre you would like to get into?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did my first western that we're looking to get in festivals now. I don't know if you guys know Louis L'Amour, the author. So I met with his son, who was in charge of his legacy, and he agreed to do a book. So I just finished a western called Flint.
Oh yeah.
Based on, you know that book?
Oh yeah.
Flint's great.
Great.
So we just did the movie, and we'll see where it goes. We're looking in the independent market. But I always said I want to pick up where Clint left off, so I want to continue in that genre if I could. So that's another one. Of course, Indiana Jones and all that adventure type movies I love. What else? I don't know.
There's so much.
There's so much.
I mean, kind of akin to that question though, at these conventions, there's so many people that you may have not worked with, but you may be fans of their work. Have you gotten starstruck at all by anybody you see back there in the green room at any of these conventions? You're like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, all the time. I'm a fanboy all the time. Like the Goonies even. I'm like, oh God, the Goonies. And now Reno 911, I love that. Hilarious. I mean, Jeremy Renner, I know as a friend, he was the one, and so I got to see him. John Cena, because my son's always going, John Cena, smashing me, so I was like, oh, nice to meet you. Alec Baldwin I just met last night, so, and Helen Hunt the week before. I mean, these are people I grew up watching and love, so this is fun for me too.
Well, since we have about 10 minutes left, I do want to try to do a couple fan questions
Yes,
before we
yes.
have to actually leave. Oh, look at that. Look how quick you all were. Hi, what's your name? What's your question?
Hi, my name is Ryan, and I think since Lost is the finale, a lot of people talk about what happened in the Flash Sideways, but I want to know, since you were one of the few people that flew off the island, with Kate and Claire and Richard Alper, like, what do you think Sawyer did between getting off the island and, like, what do you think he did the rest of his life? Do you think he stayed in touch with Kate and Claire? And what do you think he did?
I don't know. I would say he probably did not keep in touch with him, but I don't think he reverted back to his old ways. I think he was changed forever, and he reluctantly was a better guy. And he probably longed and pined for Kate for the rest of his life, but he had too much ego or I felt like he loved her too much to ruin her by being with her. So I think he would have let her go because he thought she would be happy without him.
Thank you.
And I hope he'd find his daughter. That's what I'd like to do.
Hi, what's your name? What's your question?
Hi, I'm Megan. Lost, best show ever. What was your favorite flashback of any of the characters? Like a particular flashback?
Ooh. I really like John Locke's story, obviously, because that was like, what? He was a freaking ox guy or something, I don't know, in a wheelchair, what? And then his dad was the guy that
Mr. Sawyer.
was Mr. Sawyer. I love that connection, that was crazy to me.
Don't tell him what he can't do.
Yes, I like that.
Very nice. What's your name? What's your question?
Hi, my name's Jamie. I had a question. So there's so many just WTF moments in Lost, so many twists and turns. I'm just like, what? What was your favorite, like, what was your moment for you that you were just like, what? And as a cast, did you as a cast theorize about what would happen? Like, how soon in advance did you get? I guess that's a lot of questions, but yeah.
Wow, there was so many of those, exactly, that's a hard question. One of them was when I had the surgery to put in my heart, and then I found out I didn't.
Oh,
Because they didn't tell me that until after, and then I was mad about it.
yeah.
And I said, I'm gonna hit him, you have to let me punch Michael Emerson in the scene, and they're like, no, that's not, I'll let yes. I'm gonna hit him, but they'll shoot you, so what? So they let me do that. I batted that in, because I would be like, if someone did that to you, you would at least punch them if you're like. So that was one, and then I had one time I said what I thought, the season 1, Damon and Carlton came out, and everyone's giving them theories all the time, and I was like, I think the island's like the Death Star, it moves around and stuff, and they like turned on me. And I am not here. I didn't say a thing. Goodbye. I never mentioned another theory, because I don't think they were forming their theory, and so maybe I was close on something, but, and you didn't want it to be close on that.
Thank you for your questions. Hi, what's your name? What's your question?
Hi, I'm Bobby, big Lost fan. But I wanted to ask you about another project you worked on. What was it like working on Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol?
Wow, that was amazing. It's just improv. First of all, it was a huge movie. Tom Cruise, of course, grew up watching him, and I couldn't believe I was on a movie with him. And of course, Tom does his own stunts, so I do all my own stunts. So they promptly hooked me up to a crane and dropped me backwards 65 feet up, backwards like 12 times in practice, and then I had to do it on the set. And that was amazing. So, because they had just a 4-point harness with one cable, so when they pick you up, you're like a sack of feed, you know, and you spin. So I go up 65 feet, and they're like, okay, lock your core, get your legs the way you want them, you try to look cool, right? And then your turn, you're spinning, and then some guy on another building throws me a string, and I catch the string, and the IMAX camera's mounted above me, and I have to like pull on the string until and they've already rolled camera. They're like, when you get in position, we're dropping. So you go, drop you, free fall like that thing in Six Flags, or that you go on, you know, or Disneyland, you know, free fall. So yeah, that was amazing. And then Brad let me add that first fight scene on the stairs, because I was like, there's too much real estate, they would shoot me. These guys are supposed to be professional, I need to like cause a disturbance so I can get away a little bit. So they let me do that, I added that, so I enjoyed that.
Yes, you looked very cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great question. Hi, what's your name? What's your question?
Hi, I'm Caitlin. Sorry.
Okay.
So my question was, given Sawyer's many nicknames, what was your favorite, and did you have any input of what you can call the other characters without being too insulting?
I did not have input, but they kind of got it from my personality, because Damon, the creator, main writer of the show, came and stayed with us all, like 2 weeks before the pilot, during pre-production, and then throughout the pilot. So they started writing to our personalities a bit, which I think really added the alchemy that made the show really pop. And we went bowling one night and got drunk, and I was giving everybody nicknames bowling. Drop toe and this and that. I don't know what we were doing, and he kind of picked up on that. And I would say stupid things like, "Oh, there's an eagle in every seagull. You got this one." And he just started writing stuff like that. So I only had I was calling Maggie Sticks from day one, so he wrote that one in. And they didn't use, I called Kinley on ping pong, and they didn't use that. Like, shut up, ping pong. So they didn't use that. Maybe that was too far. Today, you'd get canceled for idiot. So I didn't write them.
Great, thank you so much. Hi, what's your name, what's your question?
Hi Josh, thanks for coming out to Megacon. My name's Anna. I have watched Lost like 3-4 times and I still cannot figure out what's going on.
Me either, girl. I'll just survive.
Double, triple, quadruple entendre. So I guess my question to you is like, how far, did they give you any inkling of like the ending of it, or were you kind of living sort of like episode to episode like we were on what was going on?
No, we were definitely episode to episode. They would not divulge anything to us. I think maybe Matthew they talked to sometimes, but not us. Not a bit. And then they didn't even give us the last script until we were filming. They were so secret, and they didn't want any leaks of anything happening. So yeah, but by then we were trained to fire from the hip. You know, we were getting the scripts 3 days before filming, and then my wife would lock herself in the bathroom and read it before me. I was like, you know, I gotta work tomorrow. So it was like that. We got used to run and gun.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Great question. Hi, what's your name, what's your question?
Hi, I'm Michelle. I was wondering, my daughter was one of season 3's babies for Lost.
Oh, really? Wow.
I just wonder if you, I have a picture with you actually. I just wonder if you ever run into any of these babies now, because mine is 20.
Really?
And,
The baby? Oh God.
I know it was like from our perspective, but what was it like? Because I know there were so many babies.
Yes.
So working with that many little people.
It was amazing and a little nerve-wracking because they were small. Your babies were like.
I remember your wife sent you to the baby tent to hold the babies so that you would get practice.
Yes. Yes, she did. But it was me that needed to send her. She was like, "I'm not holding you guys." I was like, but no, she turned out to be an amazing mother. But it was scary because we discovered all kinds of things buried in the jungle all the time, like rusted parts of cars and actually entire cars and things back in the jungle. So the footing wasn't so great, and you couldn't see that well. I'm carrying a baby, you know, from my ball. So there was that. I was just being very protective of the kids and trying not to. Yes.
Oh, so cool. Hi, what's your name, what's your question?
So, my name's Simon. I know you mentioned the rap was one of the hardest scenes to film. What was one of the most enjoyable scenes to film?
The day we found the bus and got to drink beer. Because the prop masters were my friends. So I was like, we'll have real beer. Oh yeah. So they just wrapped real beer in the things, and so we got to sit and drink beer on set. And then run around laughing and pushing that band, so it was really, we were actually a little tipsy. I was, I don't know the rest.
Thank you.
Great question. Hi, what's your name? What's your question?
Steve, I know you were across a lot of really gorgeous actresses the whole time you were filming Lost.
Yes.
Did your wife ever tease you about all of that? You got some brief and anything. You like doing it, a couple extra takes of that.
Yes, my wife is, she's a beast. She's this little Chinese Indonesian firecracker, so she was fine. She was like, I'm not even gonna say what she said. She'd be like, that doesn't bother me, it makes me like. But secretly, I think she didn't like it actually that much. But she's got a radar. She knows if it's my type or not. Or if there's any you ladies have the instinct. If your man's got a spark, tiny one or something. So she was aware. Yeah. But it was cool.
Hi, what's your name? What's your question?
Hey, I'm Jeremy. From the time you auditioned to the time you wrapped on Lost, I'm sure it was even more of a roller coaster for you than it was for all of us. My question is, what surprised you the most about being on that set and working?
Well, first that I survived the whole way. I was like, wow. I thought Shirley Sawyer was going to be killed off season 2, season 3 for sure. So that was surprising. And when we started doing the going through time, and that, we'd suddenly start spazzing out and falling down and shaking all over the ground. That was confusing for me, and comedy, because we couldn't help it. Sometimes we'd be like serious about falling. Sometimes we'd be acting like stupid, and some people would be dancing and going crazy, and other people would be like flipping out, and they're like, no, none of that. So we were like, we don't know what's going on, so we're just going crazy. But that was the surprising, kind of confusing part for me. And the 70s, the Dharma thing, that shocked me when that came. I was like, really? We're in the 70s now? I'm a security guy? So yeah, that was weird. But cool. I loved when they came back, that moment when I see them for the first time. That was great. Thank you so much.
Great question. We have time. We have about 3 minutes left, so we're going to try to get through all 3.
All right, I'll answer quick.
Hi, I'm Natalia. Just want to say I definitely sobbed at several scenes throughout the show. You guys did amazing with your acting. What would you say as an actor with any of your colleagues when it came to their time, if they did pass away, what would you say with how they acted with their deaths was most shocking for you or had a profound effect on you afterwards?
Each of them, actually, because it's a family, and then when someone gets killed off, especially because we were removed from Hollywood, we were on an island together, and we hung out together, and it became our family. So when someone got killed off, it was like, it was like a real thing. So we would support each other, and it was just always so profound. I was so impressed with the way they, as actors, would lean into it, not be like, I don't want to do this because I'm dying off. No, they really made each death profound and then leaned into it and did an amazing job. So I like that.
Thank you so much. Great question. Hi, what's your name? What's your question?
Hi, my name is Roxanne, and I was actually going to come up to ask a question, but since nobody really mentioned it, I just wanted to know what you thought about the theories on Lost, because there were a lot of theories. One of the theories was you all died, and you just spent that time on the island, and you never left the island. The other one was, well, you know, the numbers were just worked in and nobody really understood the numbers.
I never really understood that. I actually thought it was purgatory, and then to me it was always we were learning to be, we were growing to move on in purgatory, and then we got to a certain level in our souls and we were allowed to move on. But that is apparently not what happened.
You just left the island and then.
Yeah, I mean, I left the island, and I don't know, maybe I went to look for my daughter. That's what, in my head, I went to find my daughter because I'd gotten past, or grown to that point where I wanted to love her. So that was my thing, but I think they just did the parallel lives thing. They kind of sidestepped the purgatory thing, but don't tell them I said that.
Great question.
Yeah.
And you will be our final question. No pressure.
Hi, my name is Aurélie. Actually, she stole my question. So anyway, I don't really have any question anymore. But I was like, I think everybody in the room, I don't know, but I still not understanding the end. And I'm very happy that you don't either.
Yes, there you go.
That's very reassuring, because I was like, oh, maybe he knows, I can ask him. So very no question. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
It was very nice meeting you.
You as well. I'll get that last gentleman. What you got?
Okay, my name's Darren. Well, my question is, how much liberty did they give you in terms of some of the responses that you could introduce into the plot? Like, so, as an example, like Jack was always so like snarky and rude and explosive in some of his responses that I would say to my wife, like, if I was that guy, I'd be like, say, like, that
Right.
was rude.
Right.
You know, just like a comedy, the perfect place to slip a comedic line in there, just like, you know, flatten them with like.
Yes,
like
well,
that.
I did that in my acting because I was like, oh, I love working with him because he's going to bring the heat. And if he brings the heat, then I can just make fun of him. For example, once when he was trying to take over the medical team, or I took over the medical area or something, and then, I don't know, when he came and he said something like that, and as he walked away, I'm like, bye. Just be like worse to him. Or like when he's like, you know, like I'm in the wild. You know, when I was stealing all the medicine out of the thing, I thought, well, I'm just gonna laugh at it and be like, well, I'm in the wild. And gave him nowhere to go. He was like. So yes, in that way, but not in. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't add any lines. I just had to do it in the way I did it.
Yeah, excellent. One of my favorite responses when we called Hurley deep dish.
Yes.
Anytime I need a good laugh, I just say deep dish.
Yeah.
Was not laughing.
I did call them and I was upset at them about making me say all this, and I was like, he's got to. Sawyer's got to get his, and then they wrote where Hurley kicks my ass and drags me out of the tent. Yes! So I did have influence on that part, you know, have to do something to him. He's got to get his for all that, you know, so. Yeah.
Thank you so much. This
Thank
was
you.
fantastic.